Thank you for listening to the Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. Some said we would go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here. Who's the pick at 7? Coming up on this edition of the Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Is it Jamar Chase? Is it Kyle Pitts? Or do we go offensive lineman? Seany J and I discuss who the Lions should pick with the number 7 overall pick. Then we take a look at the new speedy wide receivers on the Lions. All this and more coming up right now on the Die Hard Den podcast. Watch out. Here comes that roar. What up, though? This is Curt Steele, and welcome to the Die Hard Den podcast. And as always, I'm with my man, Seany J.
Good evening, people. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, we are back and better than ever. One good thing, that happened, I know last week we were out. Your man Curt Steele had to get his COVID-19 shot, and that thing sat me on my butt for real. So tell me something good this week. I'm going to start it off. I'm fully vaccinated, and that's one thing that's going to help the NFL get fans in stands is making sure that everyone is fully vaccinated. And I did my part to help my family and keep my family safe and keep others around me safe as getting vaccinated as well as taking care of myself. So that's one thing. And then also tell me something good for me. It's April 1st and it starts Autism Awareness Month. Now, my son Curtis the third has autism. He's on the spectrum. If you ever heard me talk about him, you should. But if you haven't, my son Curtis the third he's on the autism spectrum. And I'm wearing my Detroit Lions Autism Awareness shirt for this show, and I will be wearing a different Autism Awareness shirt with the Lions logo on it for the rest of the month to represent two of my favorite things in life, my son and my favorite team. So there we go. Tell me something good. Seany J, I know you got something special. My man, tell me something good.
Yes. I got actually two things I want to say real quick for tell me something good.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they didn't make the Final Four, I still love my Michigan Wolverines basketball team. And congratulations to Juwan Howard. He was named AP Coach of the Year, and he was already named Big Ten Coach of the Year. Now, a lot of people laughed at that hire.
Mm-hmm.
He was a desperation hire, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
because he wasn't your first choice, or second or third choice.
Yeah.
Everybody else didn't want to lead their program.
Mm-hmm.
They said Howard has no coaching experience at all, no experience recruiting, no experience coaching. He was just a assistant coach for a couple of years, and
Mm-hmm.
and he will be a failure. But you know what? He's already won a Big Ten title, and more time Izzo is the new sheriff in town, the best
Mm-hmm.
coach in state of Michigan. And I also want to give a shout out to Miggy Cabrera. He hit a two-run homer in the first inning.
Oh, yeah.
Cold snowing today. Yes,
Yeah.
how he come back because the last few years he's had injuries. His production went down, but he slimmed down. This is the best shape of his life, and I'm hoping Miggy has a comeback year this year.
Yes, that's one thing. Yeah, Miggy, congratulations to the Detroit Tigers for winning their opening day game against our rivals in the AL Central, the Cleveland Indians. And of course, I would like to echo your congratulations to Juwan Howard. I'm a huge Michigan fan myself, especially that Fab Five was my team right there. Right after my boys with Glenn Rice and those guys won a championship. But and I understand what you're saying, especially one loudmouth over there at 97 won a ticket. He's a he's a Sparty, so he was like it's just a glamour hire, and he'll never win any games, and he's done better than anyone can ever expect him to do at Michigan, and he has the number one recruiting class coming into next season. So
That's right.
wow
And
and
don't forget,
wow,
fellas,
yeah. So
don't forget some of his seniors, the new rule because of the COVID,
yeah,
they have the option of coming back too.
that's
So,
correct. That
and
is
they won't
correct.
affect the scholarships. They'll
Yep,
keep their scholarships, and the freshmen will keep theirs.
yep.
So, be
Wow.
interesting.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah, so that was Tell Me Something Good this week. Now it's time to go on the ball. Now, this week, as you can tell by the teaser, we were going to talk about two guys that we were looking at potentially being drafted by the Lions. And this one thing was uh, Jamar Chase. Now let's check out his numbers. Jamar Chase at his pro day, he ran a 4.3840. He had 11 feet broad jump, a 41 inch vertical, and he did 23 reps on the bench press, which is pretty good for a wide receiver. Now, here's my thing with Jamar Chase was a lot of people forget about him because they look at Devontae Smith and he won the Heisman and he's the new hot thing. But on the LSU National Championship team, he was the number one receiver. Not Justin Jefferson, who lit up the league last year for the Vikings. It was Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase was the Blitnikoff Award winner on that team. He was the number one receiver on that national championship team. He didn't play this year. He sat out because of COVID. So, and next we're going to go to another hot name, Kyle Pitts. Now, Kyle Pitts, some people say he's a wide receiver. Some people say he's a tight end. But the guy is flat out good. He's big. Ran a 4.40, 10 feet 9-inch broad jump, 33.5-inch vertical, and he did 22 reps on the bench press. So, and then here's another guy. Now here's the guy. Now let's talk about these first two guys first. Of Chase and Pitts, who would you pick out of those two?
That's a tough one. That's like choosing between Betty and Veronica. They're both fine. So, but you know what? I like the big, the big guys.
Mm-hmm.
I might slightly lean towards Pitts because he's a big guy. He's not a tight end, or he can play both tight end and wide receiver.
Correct.
He can block. He's an extra blocker. He can catch the ball. He's very fast. He's very big. He's like a supersized Calvin Johnson. Wow.
Calvin Johnson's big too, though. Probably big as Calvin Johnson. I don't know if he's bigger than Calvin, but he's just as big as Calvin Johnson.
6'6", 245. Calvin was 6'5", 240.
Yeah,
about
something
the same
like that.
size.
Yeah, about the same size. Calvin's a little faster.
Yeah, but wow, he's just almost like another Calvin. Wow.
Now, for those guys, I would say this, and this is what has been my stance. If the Lions went 7 at wide receiver, I've said this multiple times, I would pick Jamar Chase. And the reason being because I watched the film on him. I still remember that year he had when they won a national championship. That guy balled out. He overshadowed Justin Jefferson. And Justin Jefferson was a star last year in the league. So I picked Jamar Chase. This is because of the fact
you can't lose with either one.
Either one of them. Really, you really can't. Now, there's another guy here. Now, on another show, I did a mock draft, right? And this is the guy that I picked. It's the tackle out of Northwestern, Rashawn Slater. Guy ran a 4.8840. The guy is 305 pounds. The guy did a 9-foot 4-inch broad jump, 33-inch vertical, and he did 33 reps on the bench press. That is ridiculous strength for an offensive lineman, especially the guy because he's only like 6'2", 6'3", and he's 305. And the guy he's quick as a hiccup. The guy, his RAS score was ridiculous. I think he was like a 993 on his RAS score. So I mean, the guy's almost was graded out as a almost perfect 10 in his RAS score. What do you think about Rashawn Slater over there at the offensive tackle position?
Why are you making my life so complicated, Curt? Dang.
Hey, it ain't gonna be easy, baby. It ain't gonna be easy.
I love my offensive lineman. I'm a big offensive lineman. But these skill guys, especially Steele, man, so tempting. If we're at 7, right? We say 7. 4 quarterbacks. The 4 quarterbacks go first. At least 3 of them go first. And we have a pick of. Don't forget about Jalen Waddle, who Thomas Shea thinks we're going to get, and Devontae Smith. It's a possibility. Anything can happen. And don't forget about the big dude tackle from Oregon, Penei Sewell.
Man, if we could get Sewell, man, what? Now I will tell you this: I will put all those guys behind Sewell if I could get Sewell at number 7. I'm telling you right now, I am really high on Penei. Sewell is a beast. He is probably the best offensive lineman that's going to come out probably in the next couple of years. To be honest with you, and it's just my opinion. So
But
Penei Sewell is that. He's like that. So uh, that's one guy I would pick above all those other guys.
while you satisfied with the Lions, I know you signed some guys.
Mm-hmm.
They signed the receivers Bashad Perriman
Mm-hmm.
and Terrell Washington. Is it? Are you
Terrell
satisfied with those
Terrell
guys?
Williams. Um,
Terrell Williams. Yeah.
we're gonna talk about those guys
Are
in a
you,
minute. We're gonna talk about those guys in a minute.
yeah.
I hear
I
you.
still think we need a stud.
Um, and we'll talk about those guys in a minute. But of those guys, right? So who's the so okay? The still question looms of the guys that we named, and we went over their stats. We went over Sewell. I mean, not Sewell, Slater, Pitts, and Chase. Of those three guys, just those three, who would you pick, Shawnee J? Of
I'm Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Pitts
you
because
gonna stick with Pitts?
as good as offensive lineman, I think we can get an offensive lineman in the second round, third round. But get a stud player like Pitts or Chase.
Mm.
I mean, man, they really have the offense. I mean, I think we get a good offensive lineman in the second or third. That's to me. I love my offensive lineman. I love the big
Uh-huh.
guys. When
Yeah.
we got a chance to get a stud like that, you got to jump at the chance.
Okay. I'm going offensive tackle. I'm going Rashad Slater, and this is why I'm going to say that. And I'm going to make sure that I want people to understand. And I know people blow me up on both platforms that I'm on, but the reason why I'm picking an offensive tackle is because I want the Lions to be able to do what they want to do. And what they want to do is run the ball. If you look at the success of Jared Goff, and that's a new quarterback, and he's going to be the Lions quarterback for the next 2 seasons at least. If you look at the restructure that when they restructured his deal to make that cap space, he is going to be here for at least 2 years. What he does best, he does play action, and he's been in an offense that runs the ball successfully. His success out in LA came with a stout run game. And where does that start? It starts up front. One thing the Lions have had that have lacked is a total unit as an offensive line. Last year, they had a solid right offensive side of the line, but not a great on the right side. Too many injuries. That tackle position between the tackle and guard, it was too many people moving in and out. Joe Dawes out of the picture. They released him. So, and Dan Campbell already kind of showed his hand saying, hey, let's think about really kicking Big V inside to guard and having another tackle out there on the outside. Now, I understand what you're saying. Well, Crosby's all right, or and then Matt Nelson. Those guys are swing tackles or backups for a reason. They come in and spell the guys when they need to, but they're not starting talent. That's just me. I don't believe they're starting. Now, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not hating on those guys. I'm not bashing them whatsoever. But you have guys that are number one guys for a reason and guys that are backups for a reason. And because it's something that the talent wise, they just don't have what it takes to be a starter in the league. Now, you know, once they got their opportunity, they played well. But guess what? When the starter comes back, guess where those guys go? They go back on the bench. But Rashawn Slater, if you go over YouTube and watch his workout on his pro day, that guy is a beast. He's a mauler, and I think he's one of those guys who can solidify our offensive line for the near future. So that's my pick. That's on the ball. That was the lead. We were gonna talk about who the Lions should draft. My man Shawnee J said he's gonna go with the big fella Pitts out of Florida, and I'm going with the offensive lineman Rashawn Slater because I don't think Penei Sewell is gonna be there at number 7. It's just something that's telling me that he's not gonna be there. And I don't see the Lions having enough draft capital because we just got that draft capital. We're just getting those picks, from the LA Rams and the Matthew Stafford trade. I don't think Brad Holmes is going to expend those draft picks already, that capital on his first draft. He just got that capital.
I agree. I mean, you only have 5 picks, so I
Well,
think the 5 picks make it really count.
yeah, we got 6. We got that when we picked up that third rounder on that.
Oh yeah, 6. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
make them all count.
you got to pick the yeah. So you got to make them all count. I don't think he's going to spend those other ones. So that's on the ball this week. Have fun as usual on the ball, Shawnee J. Just you my man, you always have some interesting takes. Now it is time to defend the den. Now I talked about this in the teaser. The Lions bring in some wide receivers with a skill set that has been missing in Detroit for quite a while. Now, is it great talent? Shawnee J alluded to this on the ball. Their 40-yard dash times for these new Lions wide receivers are spectacular. Now, we brought in Brashad Perryman, son of Brett Perryman, who used to play for the Lions. 4.29. Woo! The guy can get it. Now, they said when he ran his 40 at the combine, he ran the first time he ran it a 4.19, but they say the reason may have been because he didn't wait the full 3 seconds to do his start. They say he started a little bit early. He like 1 or 2 seconds and he was gone. So 4.29 is still blazing fast. And then we have this the new return guy. Now this is a guy that's coming in to kind of taking over for Jamal Agnew. He's coming over from the Tennessee Titans. It's Khalif Raymond. He runs a 4.34. Ridiculous, ridiculous speed. Then you have Damian Ratley. Now, this guy is a guy who was drafted by John Dorsey. He was over there on the Browns, just kind of sitting around because of the guys that were in front of him. You know, he had Jarvis Landry in front of him, and he had OBJ and a couple of other guys that was in front of him. Guy ran a 4.3940. And then you had the big fella. And this is the slowest guy. He's the biggest guy of the bunch, but he ran a 4.42. That's Tyrell Williams, the guy coming over from the Las Vegas Raiders. So with those four players in that skill set, what do you think of the Lions' new speedy wide receiver group?
I love the speed. They're very fast, but the question is, can they use that speed to their advantage to produce in the NFL? Are they? Do we have no one? Who's the number one option there? Do we, when
Mm-hmm.
you're all backup? Do we have a number one option? Who's the number one? Who's the go-to guy? I mean,
Now,
they got great size and speed. That's the question.
now here's my take on that. Um, now I usually don't say a lot of stuff that I say on other shows, but this one I'm gonna have to bring to you, Shawnee J. Now you tell me what you think about what I'm saying, right? Now the Lions didn't have a lot of cap space this offseason because of the mess that Bob Quinn kind of left us with going out the door, right? So the Lions are kind of building a team because it's not a rebuild because they have to kind of build it from the bottom up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like they trying to strip this roster down to the studs. This because of the fact that the players that they had and then the cap money that they just kind of let, kind of just walk out the door. So they kind of have to build it from the build the foundation and go up. So the Lions and Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell know what players they want, and that's what they kind of signed on this offseason. Dan Campbell already said that they're gonna have a lot of guys who are just 1 year deals. Prove it. They're gonna have their chips on their shoulder because they didn't have really the money to go out and spend on big name guys. They just didn't have it. They didn't have that, or they don't have the draft capital to trade for a guy. So uh, looking at that, I think the Lions have what they want. So they're looking at what they want, and they're going to it's going to be a year or so where they're going to get who they want. Right now, they're putting to guys in places they know what they want. They know they want speed on the outside. The guys that they may want, who they want may not be available or they can't afford them. So they go out and get what they want. So they want speed guys, and then once the guys that they want to be in the position, they come in and take those positions and make them interchangeable. So okay, you competed, you didn't fit the scheme. Brett Perriman, you couldn't make any catches. So thank you for playing 1 year in Detroit, but we draft a guy, or we drafted a guy that's maybe already on the roster who's going to come up and take your spot. If you get what I'm saying, like they know what they want, but they can't get who they want. They got what they want. If you understand my train of thought there, like
I get your thought. I get your
yeah.
train of thought.
So
They getting the best they can. That's what
yeah,
they want, but the best they can.
they get the best they can at that position. So looking at that, I don't think any of these guys are going to be here long term. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see any of these guys like the I would say the probably the best guy that has maybe staying power is the return guy, Raymond coming over from the Tennessee Titans because he's more versatile than the other guys because he plays special teams as well. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I kind of pick him to kind of maybe have staying power. Now, here's my question to you. Now I asked this question to someone else. What number do you think Brashad Perryman wears in Detroit?
Well,
Does he
I was
wear
thinking about that too.
19 because that's pretty much his number, and then he kind of takes over a number from a guy who was the number one receiver in Kenny Galladay, or does he wear 80 like his pops used to wear?
I was thinking the same thing, well ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
19, like I said, the number he wore most of his career is available now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's number 8 because Danny Amendola, who wore it last year, is gone. He go either way. Um,
If
he could wear number 8 on his father, or he could
uh-huh.
wear number 19, what he's been wearing most of his career.
Mm-hmm.
Has he been assigned a number yet?
Nah, they haven't been assigned a number yet. They,
So he can go either way. He's going to be
it probably
19
won't
or
be.
80.
It probably won't be probably around to camp, getting close to where OTAs or something like that. Here's what I would say. Here's my thinking. I think he wears his pop's number because he wants to pay homage to his dad. Now, either way, it's gonna be a little bit of pressure on the young fella to live up to the number. He if he wears 19, he has to kind of live up to the status of a Kenny Galladay, who was probably the last few years the best wide receiver on the Lions, or he has to live up to his pops play, who was part of the best trio of wide receivers in Lions history. Those three wide receivers combined was the best trio of Lions wide receivers at one time that we had. Between his dad,
Yeah,
Johnny Morton, and Herman Moore, those guys were
Herman.
some beasts. I'm saying? They went out there and performed. And it wasn't where we just had to hand. That's why that team was so dangerous, because we didn't have to hand the ball off to Barry. We could throw the ball as well. So that's what made that Lions offense more complete, because you had a running game and a passing game, and that's something we haven't had in Detroit in a long time. It's either one or the other, and right now it hasn't been a running game; it's been a passing game. Ever since Matthew Stafford was drafted, it's just been throw the ball. So the guy he only averaged 100-yard rushing game for his whole career, one game a season. So,
Is that, yeah.
yeah. So, but I see that those guys, the Lions brought in guys that they uh, are what they want, and then I think later on they're going to build and get who they want to fill those positions. But that's just me, man. But I do like the speed though, and I think the big surprise is going to be Williams, because if guy, I mean, healthy, the guy can play, and he plays with a chip on his shoulder, undrafted free agent. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, and once he got his chance out there with the Chargers, he really played well, and then he played well with Las Vegas before he got hurt. So I think he's going to be a surprise for the Lions. I'm not saying he's going to be our number one, but he may. I mean, depends on and they fit the build of what Jared Goff does best. He throw the deep ball with accuracy. He likes to put the ball guys who need to get space and get separation. He's not a good contested ball thrower. He doesn't have a lot of zip on his ball where he can fire it in there in a contested catch radius. You know what I'm saying?
He's right. He doesn't have a strong arm as Matthew Stafford.
Nah, he doesn't. He just doesn't. I mean, and that doesn't make him a bad quarterback. It just makes him, he doesn't have that skill set that Matthew Stafford had. So he doesn't have the, he doesn't have the, that raw arm talent, but that doesn't make him a bad quarterback. And that's a lot of people, I think a lot of Lions fans are down on him because he doesn't have the same arm as Matthew Stafford. But the guy is a winner. The guys know how to win games. I mean, guy's been to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, and if he has the right tools around him, he can succeed.
And let me say this real quick. Lions fans, they can't have it both ways. A lot of them, somebody won Stafford gone for so long. He's gone. I don't compare Jared Goff to, he's not doing what Stafford used to do this and Stafford used to do that. Why'd you want Stafford gone if you love him so much? I mean, you can't have it both ways.
You cannot. You cannot. All right, that's the Fin the Den this week. When we get back from the break, we're going to go into our final segment this week, 2 points conversing. we're back from the break. First of all, let me thank you all for tuning in to the Die Hard Den podcast, presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, hit the like button, hit the share button. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Hey, we appreciate you joining us right here in Detroit Lions, on the Die Hard Den podcast. If you're watching on Facebook, please go ahead and join our Facebook page. Seany J kills it over there, keeping you informed on what's going on with the Detroit Lions. Seany J, my man, he holds it down on our Facebook page. If you're listening on one of your favorite podcast platforms, thanks again for the download and the listen. We really appreciate your business. Hey, thank you again for joining us right here on this episode of the Die Hard Den podcast. Now it is time to go into 2 points conversing. All right, Seany J, the Lions signed veteran cornerback Cornelius Elder today. Now, some people thought it was a April Fool's joke because the guy goes by Corn. He goes by Corn Elder, but he's an actual player coming in. The guy's a solid tackler. I think we ranked top 10 in tackling by a cornerback last season. He was originally drafted by the Carolina Panthers, played on their practice squad, was released, went to the New York Giants, was on their practice, then he got signed to the active roster this year. The guy is a special teams ace as well. What do you think about the Lions bringing in a veteran cornerback, Cornelius Elder?
I love the move. Hopefully, he doesn't regress once he get here. He does the same thing he did in Carolina. That made him successful. So oftentimes too many guys come to Detroit and they regress. I want somebody to keep on balling.
All right.
So hopefully he'll keep on balling for us.
Now, Rod Wood had a press conference yesterday, and one of the things he talked about was possible uniform changes coming for the Lions in 2022. Now, that's when they're eligible to make any uniform changes. If you don't know, I've already said my two things is to one, go to a blue helmet instead of a silver helmet, or if they keep the silver helmet, go back to the Honolulu blue face mask. That's just me. I like that, and maybe go to a true silver colorway for the color rush instead of that gray. I don't like the gray. I want it, if it's gonna be silver, make it all silver because the Lions colors aren't Honolulu blue and gray, they're Honolulu blue and silver. So make the color rush either the silver or maybe all white. What do you think about that? So what possible changes? What changes would you make to the uniform, Seany J?
Well, I like you don't like the silver. You don't like the gray. I kind of like the gray. Or silver be fine. I kind of like the all blue. They went all blue a couple of times, and I like to see him go to an all black uniform.
So
That kind of cool too.
You like the all? Do you miss the black being part of the Lions uniform?
Kind of. I used to like the black.
You like the
and
black?
I also remember the throwback uniforms from the 50s. Those are kind of cool too. So
you talking about the Thanksgiving? The Thanksgiving Day ones? Oh, okay, yeah.
The Lions have become like the Oregon Ducks, if you will, with all these different uniforms. So
I like
they're cool. I like it.
I like the new and kind of fresh approach to the uniforms. I'm not really thinking about a redesign because I actually like the jersey that they have. It's kind of unique. I like the how it's kind of made. So I'm not a fan of changing it completely, but maybe some tweaks there, a tweak here, or like an addition of color. I like the different. The reason why I said the helmet is because I like how Tennessee changed their helmet. I like the new Tennessee helmet where they went from a white helmet to a blue helmet. I kind of like that, and I think that'd be kind of slick in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? But I think a Honolulu blue. Think about this: the Smurf uniform, all blue, all the way down head to toe. I think I would like the Honolulu blue from head to toe.
That'd be kind of cool. I would like that too.
Yeah, I would like that. All right, so but coming up next year, now they're not saying they're not in a design phase yet. They're just kind of in a brainstorming where next season, this next off season where they could be, start designing it during this season and maybe come out with a new colorway next year or a kind of a new maybe a design for the uniforms. There are 6 proposed rule changes that are going to come up for the league meetings coming up. Now, one in particular really caught my eye, right? And we're gonna talk about this. We'll talk about the other ones in the next couple upcoming shows. But the one that came to mind for me is the proposed number changes by the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, this is kind of weird. Now, this kind of remind you of college, Shiny J. I want you to try to take a listen to this. Now, the old numbers for running backs, um, they stretch from 1 to 40. For the running backs, will get 1 to 49, right? So it will be running backs will get 1 to 49, and then 8 to 80. So that's kind of weird, right? And then the quarterbacks they will keep their same kind of like 1 through 14, right? Or then 1 through 19. I'm sorry. The new wide receivers will get the old numbers is 10 to 19, and then they get 80 to 89. The proposed change is the wide receivers will get 1 to 49, and then 80 to 89. Wow, that's kind of crazy. The tight ends, right?
Yeah,
So
college.
so the tight ends will get the old ones. Can get 40 to 49 right now, and then 80 to 89. The new proposal will be from 1 to 49, and then 80 to 89. So you get a lot more players in a bigger realm of numbers that they can get. Now here's another one. The guards and tackles now they get from 60 to 79. New offensive line guard will get proposed change from 50 to 79. Now here's the one that really kind of cracks me up on the defensive side of the ball, right? It is the proposed is to go from the linebackers. Now linebackers right now can go from 40 to 59 and from 90 to 99, right? They're suggesting that the linebackers can go from 1 to 59 and then 90 to 99. So you would have a think about this. Would you want your linebacker to wear like number 5 or something like that? Like is like kind of like college game. I guess they're trying to open it.
No,
They're trying to open the numbers up where you can have more players when lower numbers.
I like I said, that was too much like college. I think the pros should leave that well up alone. They don't have to change the numbers rules. That's in my opinion.
That's just your opinion. It's just kind of crazy. It's just kind of caught my attention that they want to make these changes and they want to offer all these numbers from 1 to 49 or 1 to 59, and I'm like, come on, man. I couldn't see someone like Jamie Collins wearing number 3 or something like that. You know what I'm saying, for the
Hmm.
Lions next year or something like that. Eddie Murray's old number or something like that, or seeing my wide receiver wearing number 9. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I just can't. I just that just blows my mind. But the Kansas City Chiefs has proposed this rule, and it will be voted on in the upcoming on the league meetings coming up here before the draft. So the spring meeting. So I don't know about that one, but Shani J and I we will go over the rest of the rules coming up. There's some interesting ones. I know they want to try to have a somewhat kind of sky referee, kind of like that, where a person that's going to be in the stadium helping with the replay officials. And then another one definitely was the overtime rules and how the ball is placed, or or having a play that's like a 15 yarder to kind of uh, kind of get rid of uh, one of the rules in overtime, where it's like um, if to start it, you got to make this play that's like you like a 1st and 15 or whatever it is. It's kind of crazy. It's a whole bunch of rules, but we're gonna get into them more in depth later on at a later date. We're gonna go through the other 5 proposed change rules in the next upcoming shows before the league meetings. Shawnee J, now I know you want to talk about this. What do you think about the new 17 game NFL schedule?
I think it's one game too long. 16 was the perfect number. They should have had 16.
Okay. Um, so I, for me, from a fan's perspective, and from a monetary perspective, I like the 17 games. You get rid of the last preseason game, which was pretty much and you can play all those guys within three preseason games that you want to look at anyway. Because I believe going into camp, I would say um, probably 85% of your rosters already identified coming out of training camp. So those those that four preseason game for me really doesn't mean a lot. I mean, and think about this: a lot of teams charge the same amount of money for a preseason game for a regular season game. I'd rather pay my
Yeah.
money to go see a regular season game than a preseason game. I'm just saying. So for the and then for the players, they get an extra or extra game check or extra more revenue, and is going to expand the salary cap. They don't get paid for preseason games.
Mm.
So I mean,
They
if they
sure
do,
is.
it's a low percentage of what what it would make for a regular season game. Um, so for economic reasons, you're going to, and then they're going to have that. It's going to be where that really that 17 game. It's going to be either road or home game, and then every 8 years is going to be international game because they're going to go. They added Germany, and I think like Central America is going to be another site. So it's not going to just be in London like it just has been, or Mexico like it has been the last few years. So it's going to be uh, changing locations for some of those overseas games. So, but that 17th game, yeah, I'd rather see a 17th regular season game than four preseason games. You can give me you can take that one of those four preseason games and make me a regular what they've already done. And one thing is going to help the quarterbacks because guess what it's going to do? It's going to bump up the salary cap, right? Because you're going to have more revenue coming in from that 17th game, and those those salary caps go. The top position in a league that gets paid off a salary cap is who? The quarterback. And you think about this, you're going to have think about when it's Lamar Jackson's time to get his contract, or if he doesn't sign one this year, an extension, or Josh Allen out of Buffalo. Like those guys are going to get paid some big money for these contracts.
Yes, they will. So they're looking to cash in.
I mean, I know I understand what you're saying. You saying are you speaking from a player safety perspective? Because I know like somebody
What's that?
I know like what's his name, Alvin Kamara. Now, what to me you're gonna have to manage your what do you call that time load management, and you know and I know that the league was looking at, and hopefully they do that soon, is looking at expanded rosters. So an expanded roster could help that as well. You know what I'm saying? Like expanded game day rosters, that can help you with your but from a business standpoint, speaking only from a strictly from a business standpoint, and just a fan, I give me more football. I'll take that 17th game all day. So what is your reason? Like, why are you against the 17th game?
Well, like I said, 16 games seem like the perfect number. 17 games for the guy to get more chance to get hurt. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, those are my main two reasons right there.
Okay. I mean, I feel you. I understand what you're saying. But me, hey man, I'll take another game of Lions football, especially living in Carolina. I'll take another game of Lions football any chance I can get. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. So that was 2 points conversing this week. We talked about a myriad of topics. You got a new corner coming in, and uniform change numbers, and uniforms possible changes coming in to the Lions uniforms. Um, that's gonna be our show for today, ladies and gentlemen. We really appreciate you checking us out. So thank you for tuning in to the Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the share button, give us a comment, and if you're not a member already, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on Facebook, hey, like it, share it. If you're not a member already, go ahead and join our Facebook page. Shawnee J kills it over there on our Facebook page, making sure that you're abreast of all the Lions news and rumors over there on our Facebook page. And if you're watching or excuse me, listening on one of the podcast platforms, thank you for the download. We really appreciate you checking us out right here on the Die Hard Den podcast. Shawnee J, what's your final thoughts for today's show?
Well, once again, I know you got your vaccine, Curtis. I'm glad you're healthy and safe.
Yeah.
But still, people, this pandemic is still going. Don't get careless.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it up. Keep the vigilance.
Mm-hmm.
Get your vaccines. Stay safe. Get your mask.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your social distancing and stay safe. 'Cause it ain't over yet. Still,
Yeah. And how tell people how they can find you on social media.
you can find me. I'm mainly on Facebook as Sean Jennings. That's my real name.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be happy to add you, and I'll be happy to add you to our Facebook group as well.
Yeah. Cheyenne J, man, thank you for you hold it down over there on our Facebook page, man. You do a wonderful job over there holding it down for us. You can find me uh, at Curtis Steele 14, CurtisSteele 14 over on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow the show at Die Hard Den Pod C1 on Twitter. On Instagram is at die underscore hard underscore then underscore podcast. Hey, my final thoughts for today are hey, like I said before when we started the show, it is Autism Awareness Month. Uh, be cognizant of those who are different from you and just be aware of the differences of people. And my son, Curtis, still the third. I love him. A lot of people, get to admire their heroes. I got to raise mine. He's fearless in his pursuit of life. He just who he is, and I love him for it. And please go out and get vaccinated. Take care of it helps take care of your family and it helps take care of others around you and it helps keep yourself safe in the meantime. And like Shawnee J said, don't get careless, but one of those things is going to help, get fans back in the stands for the upcoming season is getting vaccinated. And the Lions have done their part by opening up Ford Field. So if you can get, in that metropolitan Detroit area, please, and you can get a vaccination, go ahead and make sure you take care of that and do so. But spend time with your loved ones, love one another, be kind another to one another, and just treat people with the dignity and respect that they deserve. Hey, it's time for me to go ahead and get on out of here. But before you do, whatever you do in life, you know what you got to do, baby. You got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. For my man, Shawnee J. This is Curt Steele of the Die Hard Den podcast, and we are out.